to Consider This Miss, and Sharaad here with you, and we're taking a look at the lessons learned from the Tanjung Piai by-election. We've got representatives from MCA as well as Bersatu on the show with us tonight. I want to talk a little bit about the win for MCA, whether this was seen to be an endorsement of Muafakat Nasional, whether this was seen to be, I guess, the referendum of acceptance of the collaboration between UMNO and PAS. Nicole.
I suppose this is seriously a good training ground for us. Once this Muafakat Nasional, the concept of Muafakat Nasional has been, what do you call that? People thinking of this is actually we are playing the Rais card and things like that, because UMNO is actually formed by Malays and then PAS as well. Then the Muslim or Malays come together, that the minority, which is the Chinese or even Indians, will be let off. This is a serious matter. But it shows that Tanjung Piai's by-elections perfectly shown this is a workable concept for us. And for us, for our youth session, youth level, you can see 4 of us from UMNO, from MIC, from PAS, and as well as MCA. The youth chief of 4 parties has been working together on the ground very hard, which is a lot of youngsters saying that when you go house to house, walk about, you can't really reach the youngster on the ground. But how are they going to monitor us through the whole periods and all that? They might through social media, they might through our our platform, so that I think whatever we show, we lead by example. It can be seen.
Okay, talking about leading by example, I mean, much of the leadership of Barisan Nasional today is on trial for corruption. There is a real problem for Wijek Singh because he apparently never spoke up on the 1MDB issue. There are a lot of problems with the narrative that you're putting out, in the sense that there are still issues about whether MCA is a junior partner in this coalition. All that, I mean, is MCA looking, I know it's doubled its representation in Parliament from 1 to 2 now, but is this a moment where the party thinks it has a chance to revive itself? I mean, people thought this party was, in effect, dead.
But I don't think this junior partners and all that is take place, and then I mean, people.
But that is the perception, is it not, of your party?
Yeah, because there's UMNO and PAS who has started this concept, and then of course MIC and MCA trying to we work together, see whether under this concept. In fact, if you do have a better concept by Pakatan Harapan or whosoever or any other third force, yeah, if it is good for the people, if it is good for the rakyat, by all means people will take it. But somehow, I think so far at the moment, Muafakat Nasional, concept of Muafakat Nasional is still the best.
I want to kind of follow on Sharaad's point, but throw it to Rais now. The idea of this junior member in this coalition. Critics have said that Bersatu has been the weakest link in the Pakatan Harapan coalition. In fact, I think Bersatu has never won a by-election that it's contested in. How, Rais, would you like to address these criticisms?
I think on the contrary, in Pakatan Harapan, we believe all partners are equal. We have PH Presidential Council, Pakatan Harapan Presidential Council, which I used to be a member, and I know how things work. Tun Mahathir chairs that as the chairman, and everybody will speak their mind, and eventually, collectively, with the right consensus, we will decide on issues. So I do not think there is any junior or senior partner. On the Bersatu being the weakest link, I disagree with that. I've been always truthful. When there's something wrong, I will say there's something wrong. That's why in August I said, if PH is not careful, we are going to lose the election. And I was proven right. Now, let me tell you about PPBM or Bersatu. Bersatu, on the contrary, is the band-aid, the one that collects everyone and work together. And Tun Mahathir becoming our chief, so to speak, and lead us to the victory in G14. Of course, do not conveniently forget and negate the importance of people's sentiment. In G14, people were so against mega corruption and all those destruction of the government institutions and so on and so forth. which I'm not going to repeat. If you notice, I have stopped talking about that long time ago.
But Rais, okay, Rais, let me just stop you right there. I mean,
However,
the narrative that you put out, that it was Bersatu that galvanized the coalition, is a curious one, considering that the Pakatan Rakyat, then Pakatan Harapan, right, was the foundation, right? 20 years of building a real sense of collective wisdom about democracy, something that people say that Bersatu doesn't necessarily share. That Bersatu is really a splinter of UMNO with a lot of UMNO default settings. And in fact, much of the criticism of the current cabinet has to do with Bersatu cabinet ministers.
Okay.
You know, Rina Harun, Mr. Flying Car, and so on and so forth.
Well, I'm not going to comment on the flying car. It's my favorite subject, but never mind. Let's go into, you have about 3-4 issues there in one short breath. But coming back to how Pakatan Harapan was formed, being one of those there from day one or day zero, right? It was built collectively because we agreed collectively that there is a reason that we need to form this to save the country. This is beyond the shadow of doubt, number one. Number two, talking about splinters, all parties, most parties, if not all parties, are splinter of sort. Amana from PAS, PKR from UMNO, and the rest of the, you have MCA guys there, you have MIC guys there. So it's no longer the important about splinter or not being splinter. What is being offered? So at that point of time, when we saw such rape of the country, such plunder of the country, we have no choice but to come up with an alternative alliance, alternative coalition, which at that point of time, we all agreed Tun Mahathir is the best person to lead, and that's what happened.
Right.
So fast forward now, I do not think, I mean, if you look at Muafakat Nasional, who is Muafakat Nasional? MIC, MCA is not part of Muafakat Nasional. It is just UMNO and PAS, maybe Berjasa. Even they contested again. So I do not know whether this is actually a Muafakat Nasional or a collaboration of Muafakat Nasional plus MCA plus MIC.
Nicole?
For the Penyatuan Ummah, maybe we can say that is actually UMNO and also the PAS is actually practicing, which is the Penyatuan Ummah. But come to the concept of Muafakat Nasional is actually, you can see it doesn't what do you call that? Doesn't only carry weight for Muslim, for Malays. It's actually for all.
Do you want to finish your thought there, Rais?
No, for me, Muafakat Nasional can exist, Barisan Nasional can exist, MCA can exist, MIC can exist, anything can exist. What happened in Tanjung Piai is, for me, something that I'm already looking at it since August, which I made it public. What was that? People are unhappy.
But the question, you keep coming back to it. Why is it that the Prime Minister has poured somewhat scorn on the manifesto and in some ways led a government that hasn't felt the necessity to keep faith with that document that people voted for?
I would definitely like to talk about the manifesto.
We will let you think about that during the ad break and come back and continue this conversation right here on Consider This. Stay tuned.